Welcome back to Ladies of the Night. We have a lot to cover this week, don't we?
We do, especially you.
Yes. I took it upon myself to just really keep track of things happening in entertainment news, and we're going to start doing a segment each week that we're going to call Pop Drop, and that's going to be kind of a lightning round of news in the week. And then today, probably roughly maybe last half of the episode is going to be spent talking about the Bear season 5, and we will give a warning before we do that. So if you haven't watched it, to stop listening and come back because we will talk in detail with spoilers and things like that. So we will refrain from bringing any of that up until probably right at the end of the episode. So we will get started with Pop Drop. And between both of us, before we were getting on, I had a couple of things about the Spider-Man press tour, and then Treva was like, but this outfit and this outfit and this outfit. But there's so many good ones because I just wanted to talk about Zendaya for a second. Um, if you keep up with her at all, she kills the press tours because her outfits are always themed with whatever movie she's promoting. And the Spider-Man Brand New Day has been no different. First off, we've got the Rome event where she had the Versace two-piece, which was the red and blue sequins. I feel like I looked at every angle of that outfit.
It was such a good outfit. It was like always perfect on point for Spider-Man.
Super, super cute. And it was a change because I've noticed she had been wearing a lot of black on this press tour up until about this point, which kind of worries me because black, you think of mourning and things like that. So I hope that's not like a premonition of what's to come. But also one of the black outfits was one of the ones that I did like. It was a Louis Vuitton in Berlin, and it was a two-piece. Just she looks fantastic in that kind of stuff. Just she's so tall and elegant, and I really liked that one a lot as well. And then her wedding rings have been on display at
Yes.
all of them, which has been sweet. She's got a pretty ring set. There was the John Galeno dress with the Spider-Man backing as well. That
That one's my
one
favorite. I love
yeah,
it. It is so good.
yeah, that one is killer. I love any of them. I like the subtle ones too, but the ones that are straight up, she's not hiding what it is are really cool too, as well as we were talking about the vintage Spider-Man shirt that she wore as a t-shirt dress, and I read before we got on was $34.99.
On eBay.
Yes, on eBay. So
Because
I
it was a
love that.
throwback.
Yeah. Well, the Versace two-piece was a throwback too, I read. I think it was from a 97 runway collection, so that's really cool that they pulled vintage things. Law Roach, I think, is probably one of the best around as far as stylists go. He
He nails
slays.
it. Yeah, he
Yeah.
nails it every time. Because even during the last Spider-Man set of premieres, when she was doing like each premiere had like a villain theme
Mhm.
for the throwbacks, those were killer as well. So
Yeah, they
I
were.
I have no complaints on any of Zendaya's outfits. They're
No.
all gorgeous, and I can't wait to see what she is going to wear for the rest of the tour.
Well, that and then we'll have the Odyssey press tour soon. So what is she gonna look like for that? And then Dune at the end of the year. She will be a
Lots of
busy
Zendaya
lady.
news.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see what else she wears. I think she's probably one of my top best dressed celebrities. So I felt like she needed a moment today to talk about them because there's been so many too. And
Yeah,
some of the interactions with her and Tom Holland have been really sweet too. So I've really enjoyed the press tour.
it's been fun.
It has been, and I'm excited for the movie. We also had Paris Fashion Week for the men's summer collection. I did not watch or pay attention to everything. I paid attention to the YSL show because of Connor's story, of course. His stylist, James Yardley, loves to put him in like a jacket and then take it off, and then we've got arms in a tank top. So I am always down for that. There was a standing ovulation in my living room when that happened. But it was interesting because so many of them that attended that show were in things that looked very hot. And I read that was a record heat breaking day in Paris that day. So and granted, obviously, it was a lot of men going, but a lot of suits and things like that. I cannot imagine being in some of that in that heat. There was also I didn't see anybody wearing it there, but they also had a men's loafer with this line that was transparent, which I like transparent stuff, that's cool, but it was a sealed shoe completely, and can you imagine, like, the dogs sliding around in that and the sweat and just I was
No.
like, "No." Every time I've seen it pop up, I'm horrified. So that one was a no for me. YSL is one that I either love or hate their stuff. I feel the same way
Yeah.
about Chanel and Dior too. So, but also Austin Butler was at the YSL show. He looked fabulous as always. Just a black suit. I think he didn't have a shirt on under it. Austin always looks good. And then I saw the Louis Vuitton stuff because Jeremy Allen White attended that, and he
Yeah.
was not wearing white for once.
Which is shocking.
It surprised me. He looked good, but when I saw him, I was very surprised he wasn't in white. But I love getting to see anything with fashion, so between that and the Spider-Man tour, I was excited this week to get to see kind of what was out there. Not that I am an expert by any means, but I do like to see what
No.
people are wearing, and it's a hit or miss, but it was fun. I liked it. I'm excited for Fashion Week for the women's line in the fall. That one's always fun to see too. Because I mean, that's obviously we're women. It's stuff we'd be more interested in. So, looking forward to that. Some other things this week. Taylor Swift did a duet at the Lainey Wilson concert with Love Story. That was
Yep. That
fun.
was for George Kittle.
Mhm. And, she's probably waited her whole life to sing Love Story and do the pulled out a ring because she did it on stage, was really cute. Then we have a couple of things with off campus. Quick rundown, some set pictures leaked of an arena they're filming at, and I would like to say I mean, okay, first off, this might have happened anyway, but I was talking last week about Dean and the Hurricanes, and that was some of what leaked, was they've set up it looks probably like it's just a local rink or something because it's not as fancy as their college one, but it has all of the Hastings Hurricanes stuff hung up. So the Hurricanes, one way or another, are coming next season. We also had Belmont Camelli did a promo with the Boston Bruins, which I will tell you, I screamed inside of a bookstore last night. I was at a book signing and saw him in the Bruins jersey and just literally like let out like a shriek. But he was announcing a trade that went on, and then they uploaded a video this morning where he was comparing off-campus characters to actual players. So, like, who's the better cook, Jeremy Swayman or John Tucker? He did say John Tucker. That hurt me because Jeremy is my favorite. Then he did a couple of others. I think most of the players won out, with the exception of the Hannah comparison. That had to do with singing. So, and fashion. No, 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 fashion. He picked David Pasternak. So, but that was fun. I like that they did that. Then they are also at Obsessed Fest LA, and we had that as well. I haven't seen a lot from it except a little bit of the red carpet, so I don't know a lot of what's gone on.
I've just seen a couple interviews with Antonio and Jalen. They were like ranking their like top 5 tropes. And so it
Okay.
was like, oh, like enemies to lovers, like where do you rank that 1 through 5? Like,
Mhm.
so I've seen that. I've seen Mika and Ella in another clip.
Mhm.
I don't remember what they asked, but they asked Mika about James Bond again.
Yes, I
And
saw a
she
little bit
said
of
she
that.
doesn't want to answer because she doesn't want anybody to get mad at her. So I've seen a little bit.
I must see the other side of that because I didn't see Antonio and Jalen at all. I saw Belmont and Steven together. So that's funny. I must have got the other end of
Yeah, I'm
of
on the
this
opposite. I'm
press.
on the
Yeah.
opposite side.
So that was cool, to have a little bit of that this week. Also at this same event, they premiered I don't think it's officially online yet. I think somebody recorded it and posted it, but the trailer for The Love Hypothesis,
Oh,
which is
yep.
a book by Allie Hazelwood that was originally a Kylo Ren and Rey fan fiction. So that's why I read it. I wasn't my favorite book, but the film looks promising. It has Lily
Uh,
Reinhart in it.
okay. I was gonna say, isn't she in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it looks like it's gonna be cute, but we'll see. It comes out in September. So a lot of Prime happenings, at this event, which it may be a Prime event.
I
I
think it
had
is.
Yeah, I was about to say, I had not heard of it before, but, I've paid a little bit more attention to Prime lately.
Yeah,
They've
they have a lot of things coming, which is great for us because we love to watch stuff.
I know, just keep pumping them out. I love that.
Exactly.
Well, what
Exactly.
have you been up to this week? Read, watch anything? Kind of our check-in?
I don't think so. Just continuing to watch Love Island. That's still on. We had Casa More this week. I don't know if you know that much about Casa More.
I
It's
do not.
basically, so basically the men and women that are already in the house get split, and they have like they go to a like the men went to like a different villa, and then they had all these girls come in, and so they like try to see if their connection's better with them than it is with their original girl, and then
Mhm.
the same thing for the girls. And so that's been going on this week on Love Island. So it's been some interesting drama happening there.
Sounds like
As
it.
as far as other than that, I don't think so. I did end up finishing my book. I think last week I said that I had finished the night. No, the Wolf King. I'm pretty sure, and then also finished the Night Prince. So I'm waiting on that third book to drop, and then right now I'm reading a book by Rena Kent. It's called I think it's Beautiful Venom, and it's a dark hockey romance. And there's two
Mm.
books so far in that. So I'm trying to pick smaller series so that way it doesn't interfere with our book that comes out in July, The Gilded Blade.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to keep it small, but like stretch it out. So like I'm not trying to read 8 books between that and then when that other book comes out.
Yeah. It always gets tricky when you've got something coming out because, yeah, you don't wanna not have anything to read, but you don't I don't know about you, but I like to be done with something before I start a new book.
Yeah, I don't want to stop in the middle of something, especially if it's something I haven't read before.
Yeah.
Like if it's something I've read before and I'm like doing a reread, I'll stop it and then go to something else. But if it's a brand new series I'm reading for the first time, for me, my ADHD would be like, okay, well, I don't remember what happened at all in this book if I came back to it.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it's tricky, you've gotta time it right. I have not read any dark hockey romance. I've seen a couple pop up that I've had a little bit of interest in, but I have not dove into that yet, so you'll have to let me know.
I've read a couple of Rena Kent's books before. They were pretty good. I liked them. I know they're not for dark romance isn't for everybody, but
Yeah.
I I'm so far so good. I've liked it so far. I'm about halfway through the book now, so I should be able to finish it next week.
Mhm. It's exciting.
What about you? Anything new with you?
I'm still reading Dungeon Crawler Carl. I feel like lately every time I try to read someone interrupts me, or something. So I've really slowed down and that's been frustrating because I do want to get those done before The Gilded Blade comes out. I should have more time to read in the next week and I'm hoping to knock them out. Got a good look at them in person last night at a bookstore because I've read the ebooks and I looked at the one that I'm on right now and it's about that big. I was blown, like, I know how many pages it is, but seeing it in person, I was like, "That is a very big book," and I'm
Those are the best
hope
kinds.
it is, I'm hopefully gonna plow through them. It's not that I'm bored with it or anything, just things keep interrupting me reading. So, I don't have a whole lot going on with that. I did not watch much TV this week besides my one Criminal Mind episode, and House of the Dragon premiered, and that started off with a bang, because, I was just pretty much getting ready for the bear Thursday night. House of the Dragon was fun. Honestly, my favorite part of it is the memes afterwards and sharing
Oh
them with
yeah.
friends who have watched. Because honestly, I feel like there's something special about a HBO Sunday night show that hits like nothing else, or just maybe some of my favorites have aired on Sunday nights. But I like looking at the memes after. They did a recap, which didn't really help me. I probably should have rewatched it. It's just they're so long
Yeah.
that it takes a while to rewatch. So, and then I'm nearly caught up on Interview with the Vampire. I think I've got 2 more episodes and I'll be caught up to where it's airing finally. That took me a little bit. This newest season is set in present day, which is interesting. I don't know how I feel about it because it's weird to see
Yeah.
them on, like, iPads and stuff. They were partially set in present day in season 1 and 2, it would go back and forth, but now it's all present, and so, yeah, it is, it's weird to see, like, Lestat on an iPad. So, that's pretty much what I've done. I did go to a book signing last night. I met Abigail Owen, who writes the games God's Play series. So that was pretty fun. She was really nice. It was at a smaller bookstore, so I feel like it was a lot more personal than some of the other ones I've been to. Like, when I met Liz Tom 40, the line was around the street, and it was inside they used a church in Austin because they needed something that was huge to hold the amount of people they had. So, it was neat to go to something that was more intimate,
That's
and
fun.
that's
It's always nice to go to, like, smaller bookstores. You don't feel
yeah.
as overwhelmed.
Mm-mm. No, and the staff was super nice. I feel like the people around us were really nice. So we had a good time. There were 2 other authors there that I wasn't familiar with their work, and they did a Q&A together. And so that was pretty fun. I'm going to another one in July. That's another hockey romance author. I think this one's going to be a little bit bigger because it's at a Barnes and Noble. So those are usually a little bit bigger scale, but the big ones are still fun. Just
Yeah.
these little bitty personal ones are pretty sweet because I feel like you get to spend more time with them if you want to. While being respectful of other people's time. You don't wanna be the person that
Yeah.
stays up there for 20 minutes, because that happens at Comic Cons too.
I'm a high and by type of
Me
girl.
too, I was like that too, and she was asking questions, like, "Well, tell me a little bit about yourself," and stuff like that, I'm just like, "Ugh, I don't wanna take up all your time, and I don't know what to
Right?
say." Um, I
I'm Triva. I'm 33. I'm a Taurus. I gotta go. Bye.
I know, and that's me being awkward, it's not that I don't wanna
Yeah.
talk to them, I just don't know what to say. Some
Yeah,
of
because
it
like, some of it's word vomit. Like, you
yes.
don't wanna word vomit.
No, I feel like my friends did better with the small talk than I did, but like I said, I'm awkward with it. I guess the last one I did before this was Elle Kennedy, and she kept the conversation flowing. She would ask
Yeah.
questions and things like that, and so I didn't feel as awkward because I knew what to say, because it was questions being asked, but yeah, I don't do good with small talk because I don't know.
I
I guess I get nervous because I noticed before I
yeah.
got up there, like, I started to feel anxious and had no reason to be anxious, and I do the same thing at Comic Cons too. I get really
Yeah,
nervous before I go up there.
it's just like, I don't know, it's so weird. Like, they're human beings as well. Like,
Yes.
they get it, but it's still so awkward. I remember, a couple years ago when I went to Chicago to meet James Lafferty and Chad Michael Murray.
Mhm.
I had the awkwardest conversation with James Lafferty. He was like, "Oh, like, where are you guys from?" And we're like, "Oh, we're from Iowa." And he's like, "Oh, I heard you guys had some bad storms." So we literally spent 5 minutes talking about the weather.
Mhm. I know, and I don't know, yeah, it's I the ones that I can think of that I feel like were the least stressful for me are the high and buys. Because
Yes.
I feel like I did not do anything that was dumb and if I did, it would be unintentional. I'm not one of those people who gets up there and you have the people that like to tell their life story or
Which is
you
fine.
just which is
That's
yeah,
not we can't do that.
yeah, like, totally cool if you wanna do that. I can't. I just wanna move the line and go, and it's not that I'm afraid of
Mhm.
them or anything like that. I think too some of it is I don't wanna be perceived as annoying, maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
'Cause those cons are stressful. Like,
yeah,
when you're meeting that many people or even, like, a book signing, you're meeting that many people and, like, you get the ones that are like, "They were so rude, they didn't talk to me." Okay, well, they had 80 conversations today. Like, I don't wanna be one of those people. I just wanna walk up, I wanna say, "Hi, nice to meet
yeah.
you," sign it, take a picture, I'm gonna get the fuck out of your hair. Like,
Yeah, no, I agree. And I do keep that in mind if anything ever feels weird that however many people there were that day, that it's gonna wear on you and you might be a little off at some point.
and sometimes you throw them off. Unfortunately, when I went up with you a couple years ago when we met, why I'm blanking on his name, Matt Murdock.
Charlie Cox.
Yeah, Charlie Cox. When we went and met Charlie, and I was like, "Oh, I'll see you later," because I had a photo op, and he's like, "What do you mean? Where are you going to see me later?" And I was like, "Oh, like at the photos," and he's like, "Oh," and I was like,
I know. I remember that. He was a talker, and I was, like, getting nervous the longer it went on, like, with my
and
autograph.
I think because what I think we did that one on a Saturday, or maybe it was Sunday. I don't
I
remember.
think
We
that
did it
was Saturday. No,
because
the signing was Sunday. Yeah, you're right.
because the day before we went, we were in line for John Bernthal, and the air was out
Yeah.
in that Dallas Convention Center.
Mhm.
Because then we were standing in line, everybody was sweaty, everybody was gross, and like, like even John, like John wanted to shake hands, and I'm like, bro, it's sweaty, please don't shake my hand.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, genuinely attending this kind of stuff can be very stressful depending what's going on.
Hmm.
Like with that con, you mentioned the air, it was crowded. I want to say he was running a little behind or something was running behind too. Because it seems like there were a couple of things going on because then we were worried about getting to the Hayden Christensen photo op after. So, yeah, depending what it is, it can be very stressful.
Yeah.
I know I think it was the Liz Tom 40 signing. I was starting to get a little stressed out because of the line and getting a wristband for the pictures and all of that. And so yeah, it can be a lot for us. I can't imagine how they feel sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
So this one last night was really low key and had a good time and um got off work early and didn't have anything to do. So we ate dinner and went on over there and got front row at the panel.
I love that.
So, it was neat, I had a good time. So that I think that was probably my big, like, pop culture thing of the week besides the bear, and, I saw Supergirl. So,
Oh, yeah.
I have made up for not going to the movies last weekend. I liked it, but I don't wanna compare them, and I feel like it's not a fair comparison, but I did not like it as much as Superman.
Yeah.
I feel like Superman had a stronger ensemble as a cast, and then this one didn't. I really liked, Millie as Kara, and then I like obviously, a lot of the plot line had to do with crypto, but, I did not like it as much. It wasn't a bad movie, but it didn't have a whole lot. They did a lot of flashbacks to kind of what led to her coming to Earth, and I like that backstory, but as far as the film went, I didn't think it was as strong, and I love crypto, so the fact that, that's her dog and stuff makes me happy, but also my theater was really weird with it, which might have kinda killed some of the experience. It was like an early fan screening,
Oh, okay.
and they didn't hardly have any of the merch out because there was a crypto plush that I have had my eye on for a month and fully was intending to buy, and they didn't have any of that out. They had
Oh.
that one cup that's been getting kind of ragged online. Um, the cape is a tan color, and it looks a little inappropriate, that's all I'll say. So they had that cup, like, it looks I'll have to send it to you if you haven't seen this cup.
I have not seen
Yeah,
this.
I'll have to show it to you, but yeah, so they didn't have a lot of the merch out, and then it started at 7, and then we sat there for 20 minutes with the black screen, and then it started. So I think they opted out of previews, but if they were gonna do that, why didn't just start it at 7? So the
Yeah.
whole thing was kind of a weird experience too, so I don't know if, like, by the time the movie got started, just it kinda killed the vibe. I don't know, but so I did do that and probably will see Toy Story sometime in the next week finally. Gotta make the
I
most
will
of my AMC pass.
I will not be watching either one of those.
Yeah. I see a lot of stuff mainly just because I can go for free. I mean, it's not free, but you know what I mean? I mean, it's $25,
Yeah.
I get 4 tickets a week. Like, I'll go see a lot of different things, and then I like to review them on Letterboxd, so even stuff I'm not crazy interested in, I'll usually go to, and have a good time.
And it really has to, like, catch my attention in order for me
Yeah.
to go. Like, you know I'm not a DC fan, so I
Mhm.
will not be going to watch
Yeah.
Supergirl.
I definitely think these I guess we've had 2 now, are definitely better than the DCEU was. I didn't dislike all of those, but I would say the majority of them, they're just a lot of them are just very slow, and they're dark, which, I mean, that's not really a problem necessarily, just I just didn't care for that. There were a couple things I did like, and then a lot of their cast ended up in different controversies later on, which, I mean, that can happen with anything,
Yeah.
but there was a lot of it with them, and so really by the time it kinda wrapped up, I was just done with it. I did see all of their films by the end, but yeah, I don't know, it didn't have the strong run that Marvel has, and, I mean, even Marvel, some of it lately hasn't really been my thing either, but I do like so far what they're doing with the new DC movies,
Well,
but
that's good for you.
yeah, so, but it's like, I don't know what else I would want at this point because I feel like we've had so many Batmans, and I can't remember if it seems like I've read stuff about tying in the Robert Pattinson ones with this, but I'm not positive because they're made by different companies, I believe,
Yeah.
so, I don't know, it's how many times can we redo something?
I think that's what holds me back too, because it's like, how many Superman can we have? How many Batman can we have? Like,
Mhm. Yeah, because I mean, honestly, when they even with Marvel, when they first brought Tom Holland on, I was like, "This is the 3rd Spider-Man we've had." So and granted, like, he ended up being fantastic and all that, and it wasn't anything against Tom, just my first thought was, "How many times are we gonna retell this story at this point?"
but the good thing about Marvel is we didn't start
Yes,
over for
yes, and I
Spider-Man. He
think
was kind of just like, here he is. This is what he's
Mhm.
doing. Boom, go. We don't need
I
the backstory. We don't need
I
any of that.
think yeah, I think that was the saving grace for me with it, was that it wasn't a full redo, and with the new Superman, it wasn't a full redo. I mean, it starts off right away, he's Superman, he works at the Daily Planet, like, they did not go back to the beginning, and I think that helped with that too, that both of them were not a full reboot,
Yeah. I think
because
that also helps too, especially if you've seen it. Like you said, with like
Mhm.
Spider-Man, we did the whole, he got
Yes.
bit by a spider or he made his own
Mhm.
webbing and like all of this stuff. Like we know this. We don't want like a repeat of it again.
Yes, for
Granted,
sure.
it was by, two different studios, but
Yeah,
still,
different
like,
studios, directors, all of
yep.
that, but yeah, it's I mean, at the end of the day, it's the same story. Well, and even with, the Batman, it starts off he's already Batman too, it's not a full reboot either, and I like the Batman a lot, and I'm frustrated that the second one keeps getting delayed. I don't think they've even started filming yet, but I think that
He's
helped with it
busy.
too. Yeah, Robert's
He's got
been
that.
busy.
He's got the Odyssey.
Yeah, he's done a lot, so but I think too, because yeah, that one's not a full origin story either. I mean, it goes in right away, he's Batman, so I feel like with the 3 major ones, Spider-Man, Batman, and Superman, it's helped that they did not just straight up reboot them like they did with
Yeah.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But speaking of new things, do you wanna transition into The Bear
Yeah,
and get
let's go for
started?
it.
Yeah,
Let's
so
go.
anybody that might be listening that has not seen season 5 yet, go ahead and click off and come back for these last 15, 20 minutes, because we will talk with spoilers, and we'll always give a warning if we're gonna do spoilers or not,
Yeah.
depending what it is. This is just I mean, this was dropped in one day, I feel like we've got room to talk about it, so, we'll go ahead and dive in.
Okay, let me get my notes out. So should we recap what happened previously on the Bear before we go into this season?
Yeah, if you wanna give a recap.
So basically recap for season 4. it ended with them running out of time for the restaurant. They were running out of money.
Mhm.
So that's basically where we left off was we didn't
Yeah.
know if they were going to stay open or if everything was going to completely be shut down.
Mhm.
We also ended with Carmi basically saying he doesn't want to be head chef, the owner, nothing anymore. He wants to give it
Mhm.
all over to Sid.
Mhm.
And so that's where we ended season 4. And then we literally jam packed season 5. Everything was within, I think the first 7 episodes
I
were one day.
Yeah. I think 7 opened with, like, the morning after. So,
Yeah, I think
majority
so.
of it was one day this time.
Yes. Yes.
It had at least the first several episodes had that high stress feeling that I think season 1 did. I know I felt a little anxious. It was the pacing, the music, all of that, and there was tension and
R
things. So it definitely had kind of a season 1 feel to it in the
Yeah.
beginning, which it was kinda nice to go back to that. It's not nice to sit and watch something and be stressed out, but that, was such a core thing with the beginning of the show.
Yeah, you were stressed out. You didn't know what was happening, what's going on.
Or if there was a haunting inside the bear, because apparently there was. At least if you were a FAC, you thought that there was a haunting
Yeah, yeah.
with, Paul Rubb.
Yes, we did have a cardboard cutout of Paul Rudd, which is great. They did put him in a beef t-shirt, but I am pretty sure by the end he had a beef t-shirt on, which was a great throwback to the
Mhm.
first season. I loved that little thing because some of them said the beef, and then I guess
The
I didn't pay
birth.
attention. Yeah, because Richie had that t-shirt on.
Yeah. I remember noticing that in season 1 because I was like, "What on earth?"
Yeah.
But, yeah, the pipe bursting with, the Paul Rudd cutout, as they call it, Paul Rudd, when they're talking about him being possessed and the camera just keeps doing the close-ups of the face
That was great.
before the
I
pipe
loved
bursts.
that.
I thought that was so funny. The pipe bursting scared me. It was so intense.
It was great though, because I love how he just stood there, and then,
Yeah,
like, the end of the episode, he's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?"
and the screen's, like, blacked out with the sound still going on. I
Yeah.
like the way they do that with their episodes, as far as
Mhm.
editing goes.
I had that, I had the throwback, that was great. I've noticed in this season a lot, Jeremy Allen White's eyes were so blue.
I
Like,
noticed
obviously,
that a few times
I
too.
know his eyes are blue, but for some reason, they were, like, something about the season, I, like, could not stop focusing anywhere but Carmi's eyes. Like,
Yeah.
there was just something about either the way that they filmed it, the way that they edited it, I don't know, but it was great. Like, they were just so blue, it was almost, like, hypnotizing this
Yeah,
season.
like, that crystal color. I don't know if it was the lighting or something with editing when they finished, but I noticed it a few times too because he definitely does have very light eyes.
Mhm.
Sometimes which you see memes about and things, that I mean, that's something that you definitely think of with him, and I noticed it too, so I don't know if that was intentional on their part for some reason or if it just happened it looked that way in the final cut.
I also have, I think it was an episode either 2 or 3 after the pipe burst, they were complaining about the cigarettes and it clogging up the drain. And
Mhm.
Sydney is yelling at Carmi that about the cigarettes, and he goes, "I don't smoke." And then in episode 4, we get him smoking a cigarette out there.
Mhm. Well, and then in the last after they survive, the day, he has a cigarette then too. I mean, most of them
Yeah.
have cigarettes at that point, but yeah. It almost felt like, in some ways, there was a little bit of a role reversal with Sid and Carmi. She wasn't necessarily yelling at him, and I guess it was her, being in charge, but that was an interesting dynamic, and there were a couple times it made me uncomfortable. Um
I definitely think that should have been addressed because obviously throughout the first 4 seasons, we see Carmy and how anxious he gets and how
mhm.
he doesn't handle the stress well.
Yeah.
And it seemed like obviously Sydney was going through the same thing with being in charge. And that was never discussed. There was
Mm-mm.
only points in time where Carmy would see that she was doing it and that he would kind of like back her off that ledge.
Mhm.
But again, never discussed on anything regarding any type of anxiety, like nothing.
Mm-mm. No, and I feel like they did I noticed it more toward the end. I feel like they started to do a good job with addressing Carmy's anxiety and the way he handles things, but yeah, like you said, it's not really addressed with Sid, which, I mean, I think anybody would have stress and anxiety taking over a job like that, especially with something that is so messy like the Bear. I mean, they have all the financial problems. Now we've got flooding, and the whole restaurant's been a stress pit since it started, and then to take it over. Um, and then when I said that their dynamic made me uncomfortable, it wasn't that she was in charge made me uncomfortable, it was more there felt like there was tension, like, when he's, cutting the string and they're sharing the table and she's getting
Yeah,
irritated getting irritated, that's probably how what she wanted to do to Carmy, knock him out of the way, um,
exactly.
but they do a good job with making you feel uncomfortable at times because there's been instances throughout the whole show where watching it, I felt uncomfortable. And I don't know that it was a secondhand embarrassment for Carmy. Like, I'm not sure what it was, but it definitely made you feel a lot of things this go around.
And between those two and then Marcus and Luca, there was
Yes,
that
yes.
big tension as well with both of them from him wanting to go back to Copenhagen.
Hmm. Yeah, because there were times with them I felt uncomfortable too. One of them, I don't remember which episode it was. It was probably 7 or 8 because those are the 2 that I watched this morning and finished. They've got the guests back in the kitchen, and he's calling for Luca, and he's like, "I'm with guests," or something like that, and
Yeah.
just yeah, that tension was uncomfortable.
And Richie stresses me out.
Richie stresses me out too. There's I don't know what season it's in. I have it saved in my meme folder, but he's like, "Can you hold my cigarette? I think I'm gonna throw up." That's I think sums up like Richie and watching Richie.
I think that was season 4.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I'm
I've
pretty
had it in
sure
my folder.
isn't that when one of the wedding scenes was, and that was before yeah, Tiffany's wedding. Because
Yeah, that would make
we meet Josh Hartnett. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that would make the most sense, but yeah, I have that saved as a reaction to send, and, I feel like genuinely that sums up, like, watching Richie because he is very stressful. His car
And
wreck at the beginning.
we didn't get any Taylor Swift
No,
references from him
no,
this
like,
season.
I'm gonna take off a whole star for that because we had it every time.
From season 2 on, we had it. Because it was always in reference to his daughter, and then we see
Yeah.
her and we got no Taylor
Well,
Swift reference.
I almost think it was in season 1 too. I'd have to double check, but, I mean, it was like a staple, and then we had nothing.
I don't know. I think it was season 2 because at one point he in season 2 was like, "I love Taylor Swift too. Okay, I just gotta have a break." And then in season 3, no, maybe it's season 2, we get him singing "Love Story," and then in season 3, he's talking about buying her the Eras tour tickets, maybe.
Yeah, it comes in, and that you are right, I looked it up, it was nothing that was featured in season 1.
And then season 4, his daughter had an Eras tour blanket.
Yeah, and while it may not have really been the whole show, I feel like it stood out. So,
It
I
did.
mean, it was a bummer to not wrap up with it in some way, but that's fine.
I also have it noted down here. I feel like this season we had a lot of cussing. Like, not saying like that's a bad thing. I feel like we had a lot more cussing than we did in previous seasons, but it was a high stress situation. We had what, 1 through 6? It was one day. They were on
Yeah.
high stress. I don't know. I just thought it was funny that there was so much cussing,
I
but
didn't
I loved
notice.
it.
That's an interesting observation, and it would check out with the amount of stress. I think of all the stuff that's gone on, and they've had a rough time. Like, if you're ever having a bad day, just think it like Carmi is out there having a worse day than you, so that, might make you feel better. They have had so much go on, but I feel like this particular instance was rock bottom. I mean, there was
Yeah.
no money. They're flooding, the storms going on, they were overbooked. I mean, I think the worst that could have happened.
I also have it written down here. Poor Pete. Every
Yeah.
season, Pete gets shit on so hard. And
Mhm.
I get it. There's like one in every family, but like whatever. Pete really tried to help them this season,
Yeah.
especially with the air tax or whatever.
Mhm.
Like I just felt so bad for him, but we did have that really cute moment with him and Sugar. I think it
With
was at the end of like 6 or 7.
Yeah. I've never understood why Pete gets so
I
much
think it's cuz
crap
he's
from
too
people.
nice.
Maybe, yeah,
Cuz
because
that
I've never
family's
had a
not
problem
very
with him.
nice.
No, they're not. It's a very toxic family, and, I mean, you see the way that it affected all 3 kids in different ways, and
Mhm.
yeah,
And
and it
especially the way that they were talked to as well. Like Michael got
yeah.
shit on the most,
Mhm.
obviously.
Which oldest, that kind of stuff tends to happen. I feel like people, and I can say this as an oldest child, people like parents do treat the oldest differently. And it's a lot of pressure and things like that. And then middle children, they usually feel forgotten, and I can see why that happens. I mean, there's studies on birth order and all of that, and I feel like a lot of that does check out with them on the show. And then adding in genders, Sugar is the only girl, there's 2 boys,
Mhm.
things like that. So I feel like with the different toxicity in their family unit, a lot of the way they handle things plays out pretty good in terms of, how somebody that grew up in that might have responded. And it's not just their mom, that I mean, their extended
Jimmy
family's rough
Jimmy
too.
d
Yeah,
yeah, Jimmy does
yes.
it too.
So,
I
yeah, I mean,
I
you might
did
be right
feel
about Pete. He's just too
I did
nice.
also yeah, I did also feel bad for James this season because he's like, "I don't have any more money. Like, what do you want me to do?" Like, I
Yeah,
did feel for him. And
I
then,
did
like, he
too.
said that he, like, sold all his watches. He only
Yeah.
has a one left for his brother. The one thing I really did like is when that guy came in to buy that watch, Richie was like, "I'm not letting this happen," like,
Mhm.
and then sent him away. So I thought that was, like, a cute moment.
Yeah.
We
I
still
feel
haven't figured out who Richard is. Like, that'll forever be a mystery.
I don't know, one of those things that, yeah, it's not solved. Um, I liked that we got, even though it was very minimal, some Mikey flashbacks with him and Richie. Again,
I'm
not
sad we didn't
much,
get I'm sad that we didn't get something more, like, because 'cause he's been in every season. I
and
mean, because
it's been something that's significant.
yeah, because we had the end of season 1, we got that little, like, thing where Carmi, like, sees him, and then season
Mhm.
2, obviously, we got the flashback of dinner. The season after that, we had, Christmas, all of that. Like,
Yeah.
it was sad that we didn't get a little bit of Mikey back in there somewhere
I
besides the flashbacks.
Yeah, I agree because, I mean, really the whole show is because of Mikey, if you know what I mean, because that's
Yeah.
what brings Carmi back. He gets involved in all of this. That Mikey, even though, he's not actually there the whole show, is such a core piece of it. I did love the last shot of Carmi sending the text message.
That was
The
cute.
I'm all right, or I'd have to look and see how he worded it, but I did like that they did that. That felt like a really good tie for me. But I'm with you. I wish there would have been something, whether it was they found a letter from him or
Because
something
even
that
because even like at the end of season 1 with like Carmi cooking or whatever, like even at like the birthday party, they could have had like
Mhm.
like a little flash of Mikey or something like
Yeah.
they had ended season 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that was, if I had to list a disappointment for the finale, it would have to do with that there
We
wasn't
didn't
something a
have
little
enough.
more.
We did not have enough John Bernthal.
No, not for Triva.
No.
So, yeah, that I think was my letdown. Overall, I think it was an okay season. It was not by any means my favorite. I do think it ended well outside of feeling like it should have had a little bit more Mikey presence in some way for closure reasons. I think it had a good ending. It's not one that I'm going to go away thinking about forever, and that's, not necessarily a bad thing. But it's also not when people talk about the ending of TV shows that I'm like, "Oh, well, at least it didn't end like Dexter or Game of Thrones," that it's not gonna be one that I rattle off as an example of a bad ending.
Yeah. Yeah. I also think the ending was really good. It was shocking to see him going for like an
Yeah.
architecture-ish role. Like, I know he said that he enjoys drawing and stuff like that, so that makes me think he should have gone into something like graphic design or
Mhm.
anything with like besides architecture. Not
Mhm.
saying that that's a bad fit for Carmi. I just felt like it definitely could have gone differently. I also thought she was a therapist when he first got there, and I was like, "Oh my god,
That's
thank God he's going to
Yeah.
therapy." And then it was a
That's what
job interview, and I was like,
that's what
"Oh,
I
okay."
thought too. I thought it was therapy. I thought Bonnie Hunt was gonna be the therapist, but then I was like, "Why is he wearing a suit to therapy?"
Yeah, then I questioned that too, and I was like,
Yeah, no, I'm glad that it wasn't just me. I was surprised by the architect role too, but at the same time, he is Carmi, at least for me, has come off very intelligent, and I could see it in a way, but also something like graphic design, I also feel like would have checked out. And that's such an interesting thing. I don't know how old Carmi's supposed to be. Um, I assumed probably late 20s, early 30s, but that's also like a huge thing to change careers because all he's known is the kitchen. He worked really hard for it. And so I, and especially for someone with anxiety, I think that was a really cool move on their part to kinda push him out of that comfort zone and seek something else. So I think that's cool.
yeah, I know, I think it was, cousin his, John Mulaney, I
Yeah, I was
don't
gonna say
remember.
John Mulaney. I
Yeah,
can't remember his
I
name.
can't remember I can't remember the character's name. But I'm pretty sure at one point he said it was like an internship, which is totally fine. But I'm
Mhm.
still my thing was is I was like, huh, architecture, because he said he likes draw, and I was like, obviously that's not a bad career. Obviously, you draw a
Mm-mm.
lot with architecture, but I was like, I feel like with the things that we seen in his notebook, he definitely should have gone into, I don't know, like books, maybe
Mhm.
cooking, like drawing out, or like some type of graphic design. I don't know. Like that's not a bad thing, but I just
Yeah,
thought that was an interesting move to put him in
it
architecture.
surprised me too. One of the things that during the interview, not therapy, actually, like what I'm about to say sounds like it would have been in therapy, not a job interview. But I really, I mentioned earlier, I felt like they did a good job with talking more about Carmi's anxiety this season. And one of the things that he says, again, this is one of the reasons I 100% thought it was therapy, was he said, "It's a shit show in my brain." I just really liked kind of that description of things because that is probably how he's felt and how a lot of people feel. And again, like I wouldn't say that in a job interview. So that's again kind of backed up my therapy question, but I really liked that for some reason because I did make a note of it when he said it and just yeah, I felt like they did a good job with that. And he was calmer this season and maybe it was he was at peace with stepping away from the restaurant, and that is something I would have wanted. Not I mean, I would have liked him to stay in the kitchen and stuff because clearly he's good at it, but I really like that he finally found peace because the whole show he's never seemed happy, and that makes me sad, because in some ways I can relate to that in the last couple of years, and so it is nice that maybe this might be the right move for him. It may not be, maybe he'll do something else after, the architect stuff, but I did like that it felt like Carmi finally got peace, and we see that reiterated with his, text to Mikey.
Yeah, and then it was really nice, like ending it with Richie's daughter's birthday party,
Mhm.
and then we seen like all the characters. We had the facts. We had um the ex-wife and Josh Hartnett, and we even saw Claire there, even though
Yeah.
that was
S
so random because she
yes,
was
I
never brought up once a season.
no,
But
and yeah. I guess they did it just to kinda have everybody together, but yeah, I felt like it was random to have her there. Everybody's together, we're wrapping things up, but yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, "That's weird."
yeah, I thought it was a good season. Obviously the ending was okay in my book. I don't think
Mhm.
it was like, the most epic finale I've ever seen in my life, but
Yeah, for sure. I'd rather have something that was just okay than one that I'm left mad about for weeks on end,
yeah,
because probably everybody has a few shows that they felt that way about, and that's always really disappointing, and so, yeah, it wasn't a big epic send off, but it's one that I wasn't angry about.
yeah.
So that's enough
We've
for me at least to
we
feel
definitely have a couple that did not end well. For me,
no.
the number one I can think of is Stranger Things.
Stranger
So,
Things. My top is probably between Dexter or Game of Thrones, I think, which Dexter, they've done follow-up seasons that have helped some, but yeah, that one I still get triggered about because it felt like sloppy writing, and same with the Game of Thrones finale. Sloppy writing, and that makes me madder than anything, and maybe in some ways Stranger Things was also a little bit of that, and I don't know, it's just you spend so much time on something to have it left with either plot holes or choices that you don't care for, things like that. So, I would much rather be like we are with The Bear than one that, because yeah, I don't know how long Dexter and Game of Thrones have been off now off the top of my head, and still bring them up, like, in my rants about, like, TV finales.
yeah.
And then, you hear it about other shows, like, I've never watched How I Met Your Mother, but I know that finale made people mad, and so therefore I've never wanted to watch the show. Even
Yeah,
though
yeah,
even though I would probably like it, but I don't wanna be
the
mad.
two the two that you mentioned, I've never watched, so
Yeah,
I cannot confirm nor deny on that one.
yeah. Um, yeah, I could probably think of others, but those are always my main ones, and then I feel like if we looked up a list, we would see Stranger Things on there. So, I'd rather it be mediocre or just okay than, you know, on, like, BuzzFeed's top 10 worst finales.
Yeah,
And people may, feel differently than we do about The Bear. They may have hated
and
it
that's
too,
fine. That's totally
but
it's subjective, so
yeah, but I was comfortable with it. But, I will say I am glad to have that chapter closed of my life. It's not a show that I'm gonna miss, if that makes sense. Like, I liked
um
it, but I'm okay that we're done.
yeah, I don't know. I might go back and rewatch it at some point in time. I don't feel like it'll be a regular rotation
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I continuously come back to.
Mhm. Yeah, and definitely there's some shows you can do that with and some you don't.
I feel like with The Bear, it's too, at least the first season, it's too high stress
Yes,
situation.
I agree.
So for me, it can't be like a comfort show where I can just be like,
Mm-mm.
oh, I'm just going to put on The Bear in the background and just
Yeah.
to go about my life.
Yeah, I agree. When I rewatch stuff, it has to I'm looking for something out of it, I guess, whether it's like there was a romance on it I really liked, or it's funny, or it keeps me engaged. And with The Bear, I think if I watched season 1 again, it would stress me out. That
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, it can't just be in the background, while I'm doing whatever kind of thing.
I have to be locked in. Yes, chef.
Yeah. But, hopefully we can maybe find some memes because that always helps, stuff to laugh about later. I thought about this when I was watching it the other night. One of my favorite things that came out of it is it's a picture of Jeremy Allen White, and he's in his chef's uniform, and he's standing there, like, with his hands in front of him, and it was like me after I heat my ramen up in the microwave and stuff like that. That was one of my favorites because I hate cooking, and when I do
Um,
something that does feel fancy, I think of that meme.
we also have the the video of cooking anything. Get out of my kitchen. Get out
Yes,
of my kitchen.
yes, and yes, because I use that, or I used to on Twitter sometimes. "I can't talk
For
right now," and stuff
Thanksgiving.
like that, yeah. Oh, and then we got
Yes.
the fork. So,
Yeah.
a lot of funny things that come out of it,
You
but
said you got that smoking meme. I'm gonna throw up. Hold my cigarette.
yes, I used that one. I feel like I have one more in my folder that I use sometimes. I would have to go back and look, but I do it's probably another Richie because he had some good lines, but yeah, it's crazy it's done. So,
Yeah.
I
It's
do
always
hope
sad when stuff comes to an end too,
it
because you're
is.
like, oh,
And even like I said earlier, like I am okay with it being finished, but it is weird because it has been a staple for me for the last, I think, 4 years.
and especially going into award season, like,
Yeah.
we've that's been a consistent thing that's been nominated
Mhm.
for a couple years now. So
Yeah, for the most part, with the exception of, we talked there was one season that I think they were snubbed, and then there was one they were nominated but didn't win, but for the most part, it's been there, and,
yeah,
I imagine it'll get some nominations next year, um, and, then that'll be it because 'cause that'll be the last one, and so it
yeah,
is weird when stuff passes on like that, like, it was strange when Succession finished out, Hacks, even though we haven't watched it, that's one that it's ending, so it'll be a new group of things coming into award season.
yeah,
Hopefully some of which we watch. It is more fun when it's things that you have seen, but,
yeah. And we're rooting for certain
and
people.
rooting for them. I mean, I'll always still watch anyway, even if my stuff's not on there, but it is more fun when it's stuff that you're into. So we'll see. We are getting closer to Emmy nominations, so I'm excited.
Yes,
I think that might overlap when I come to visit you, so that might wind up being that episode that week. I'll have to double check, but I think the nominations are the week I come to you, so, we might get to
that's
talk about that
perfect.
in person.
And we're gonna talk about the Odyssey because we can go see
Yes.
that.
Yeah, so that'll be a fun one. But we're just about out of time, so we can spin a wheel.
Yes, our topic
So,
is the bear.
yeah, we've already done the bear once with the wheel, but given that was the majority of today, it makes sense. So we will see what we get. We've already done this one. For bear, actually, it was most likely to win the Hunger Games, so let me spin again.
We
Like
did that
last
last week,
time, there's so many options. Why are we getting duplicates?
and it says no. Answer the same question.
It was the horror movie again. Oh my goodness. We're spinning a third time. We're not cheating, I promise. We're trying to give you we're trying to give you new content. Okay, here we go. This is a new one. Who would you call in a crisis?
Sugar, 100%.
Sugar. Mine would be sugar too. Or actually, there's a part of me that would call Carmi because we're similar minded as far as like anxiety. So I feel like it
I
wouldn't
feel like
help.
Carmi would stress me out.
He would, but at the same time, like my crazy would meet his crazy. And like
Yeah.
I'd feel validated for what I was flipping out about.
You
But
know who I'm not calling?
who? Richie?
Richie.
No, yeah, I agree. Sugar would be the most logical answer, but I feel like a part of me might seek out like birds of a feather with Carmi.
I think definitely Sugar or Tina I would call.
Yes, yes, Tina would be good.
Um,
Don't call a fact.
I was gonna say I might call of a fact depending on depending on the situation.
Yeah, that's true because there may be some stuff they would, depending what the crisis is, they would assist with.
Yes. But my top pick is either Sugar or Tina because those
Those
two
are,
I know would drop everything
yeah,
to help me with what I need or help me figure out what situation I'm in.
yeah. Yeah, I think they make the most sense. I would be probably between Carmi or Tina. Because yeah, once you said Tina, I was like, that's good. But yeah, Carmi would
Yeah.
be for the sole purpose of I need somebody to validate this. And I guess depending what it is, if it's a crisis that I need talk down, from Tina, but if it's something that I need somebody to understand, that's probably not rational, I would say Carmi,
Mm.
but that wouldn't help me. We would just be freaking out together.
It's true. It is so true.
So, well, next week we'll check in and see where we're at with what's happening in pop culture.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've been saying it for weeks, but I'm gonna get our ACOTAR reread stuff up and get that posted so at least we know it's coming. But it will start in August,
Yes.
and we'll see where we're at next week. We had a lot this week to go
Eh,
over, so it was fun. I love when
Every
pop culture's lively.
exactly. You never know what each week will bring us for pop
No,
culture.
because last week didn't have a lot, and then this week I had a whole list of things, so it was
Yeah.
fun. So I'm excited to see what's to come and really excited for Emmy nominations. I feel like I'm gonna start a countdown.
Yes.
All right, well, until next time, bye.
Bye.